1 in 4 people are diagnosed with anxiety or depression, according to the Office of National Statistics. Depression is a treatable illness that affects the way a person thinks, feels, behaves and functions. Depression is a condition in which a person feels discouraged, sad, hopeless, unmotivated or disinterested in life in general.
I was talking about depression with someone not too long ago, and he pretty much explained it perfectly, that it's like a black cloud. It might sound a bit cliche and stupid, but that's how it feels sometimes. There's a black cloud that constantly follows you. Some days when I'm feeling down, it's directly above me. On my worst days, it's raining constantly, and on my good days, it's most sunny, and that cloud's still somewhere in the distance.
How does this affect you personally on your day-to-day life?
Like, my mates would text me or phone me and I'd blank the text, so I'd turn my phone off so they couldn't contact me or not, and I'd just rather sit there on my own listening to music, or I'd just go on a walk on my own and just try but fail to clear my head.
It definitely has made it challenging for me to like make friends, because like say if you put me in the middle of a room, like people I've never met, you know, everyone will be like talking and kind of creating friendships, but for me I'll be like, what's the point? Why would they want to be around me? My alarm clock will go off and immediately I'll start crying.
One of the major ways of working with it is to actually look at what's going on in somebody's life, to help them understand what it is that's going on in their life, and actually have more understanding of themselves. People will often, if they've had a lot of negative experiences, get caught in a pattern of automatic negative thinking. So looking at their negative thoughts, looking at the environment they're in, looking at their general health. But more than anything, allowing somebody a space where they can talk about it without being judged, to be quite honest. We often hide things from people we care about because we don't want to be judged, we don't want to upset them, we don't want to worry them.
Some people experience these feelings daily or nearly daily for no apparent reason, making it difficult to carry on with normal everyday functioning. Most people feel anxious or depressed at times. This can happen from losing a loved one, a failed relationship, getting fired from a job, being abused can lead to a person to feel sad. How did you cope?
I didn't. It's sad, but I didn't. I held my head up high and pretended I was strong in public, but I really wasn't okay at that time. I hated myself, I hated everything, and most of the time I wanted to die.
Well, for a long time I didn't really do anything. You know, I just kind of dealt with feeling crap.
Sadly, within a lot of cases, suicide rates show that British men are 3 times as likely to die from suicide than British women, and self-harm statistics from the UK shows one of the highest. People who can't express how they are feeling tend to think that this is the easiest way out. While suicide is more common than we'd like to admit, it doesn't mean that it is the only answer. People with current mental health problems are 20 times more likely than others to report them having harmed themselves in the past.
You know, in the past I've took 2 attempts on my own life.
They are not stupid, selfish or insane. They are people who take things out on their bodies instead of voicing their opinion.
I was coming home with like cuts and bruises because I'd get to a stage where everything could get to me, and I just used to go mad. I used to punch lampposts, brick walls, doors. I've put my bedroom door through a good 3-4 times.
It's not about trying to kill you. It's a way of dealing with frustration and destructive feelings. It can go on for years before actually getting help. Did you feel comfortable talking about it?
Not at all. Like, I thought because I was going to counselling and seeing people to sort my anger out, I thought there was something wrong with me.
I was always worried about telling people. Like, not many people know, because not everyone understands what depression is. So I don't know what the reaction is going to be.
What help were you offered?
I've had counselling and I take antidepressants. That's the only form of help that I have been offered.
When I got diagnosed, I was given antidepressants. And I went to the counselling service at the college, and that actually helped me a lot. And I mean, it was only for like an hour a week, but an hour a week did me a whole lot of good.
There are different ways people can seek help. if they are suffering with depression. They can go and speak to their doctor, see a counsellor, or go to a support group. But there are also websites which offer the support and advice for people who don't feel comfortable going and asking for help themselves, such as Calm, which is a website run by men for men, as they know that men are more likely to bottle their feelings up and not speak about it. So this website acts as a support line where men can go on and get the information and support they need. There's also Open Mind. Open Mind provides information, advice and access to local mental health services for anyone over the age of 16 suffering from a mental health problem. Has it helped you? Do you feel a lot better now?
I've had 3 separate occasions to go to anger management, and it was only the 3rd try that got through to me, because I was older, I was more mature, I knew how to accept it, and I'd started to be more in control of my own body. I'd learned how to control stuff better, and it long run it has helped a lot. Yeah,
I think they did. Counselling gave me the tools to cope with how I was feeling sometimes.
What is your viewpoint on people who don't understand how depression affects daily lives?
I haven't been through it. It's simple. Yeah, people can sympathise with others who haven't been through it, but it takes someone who's been there, done that, got over it for them to realise the extent that they go through. I've had people come to me "Oh, you're young, you shouldn't be depressed." But I can turn around and go, I lost 2 of my best mates in the space of a month. That'd hit anyone, regardless of your age group.
When I was younger, my nan always used to say things like she thought it was an excuse like many other people do. But when I was 19, she found herself depressed and she apologised for not understanding what was going through my mind.
Depression isn't picky. No one is immune. It doesn't matter who you are, depression could still affect you. Despite this, depression is badly misunderstood. Why? Because most people have felt down, sad, and a bit depressed at some point in their lives. But the truth is, no one can really understand how depression affects someone until they go through it themselves.
And the Oscar goes to Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting.
Robin Williams was a much-loved actor who was always making people smile and laugh on our screens since 1978. Robin had battled with severe depression for years, and although he was always open about the fact that he was suffering, no one could have predicted what happened next. On the 11th of August, 12:02 p.m. in 2014, Robin was found dead at his home. He'd taken his own life. This just shows that depression can have such a huge impact on someone's life. Robin was a huge supporter of getting help with depression and speaking up about it. But even for someone who was such a big believer in hope and there always being a different way out, it all got too much for him.
If you're that depressed, reach out to someone. And remember, suicide is a permanent solution to temporary problems.
And this just shows that depression really can affect anyone and everyone, and it isn't something that we can see. The only people who know how that person is feeling is themselves. We're never going to know what goes on in another person's mind. If you could offer any help or support to anybody who is currently suffering from depression, what would this be?
To not go through it alone.
You think you can do it on your own, but you can't.
If you're going to go through depression on your own, you're more vulnerable to dark thoughts entering your mind. But I feel like now that I feel like I'm in a good place now, because I've got people around me who have gone through it, or still going through it, or even just understand it. Not a single dark thought's coming to my mind.
But I still feel like on my own sometimes, but now I know I've got people around me, and regardless of if you feel alone at the time, you've still got teachers, parents, friends, and they do help. At the time, it takes a lot of gut and a lot of strength to turn around and go, I need help. But once you've done it, the weight that's lifted off your shoulders, you're not being crushed or nothing anymore. Yeah, it takes some time getting used to it, but once you've done it, the weight, you just feel more free, and you can become yourself more, because you're not hiding anything anymore.
Look at all these faces. You won't be able to pick out the person who has depression, would you? No. This is because there isn't one specific type of person depression can affect. Depression can affect anyone at any point in their lives. And that is important to remember, because if you are battling depression or any other mental illness, you are not alone in the fight.